Hello, greetings. This is me, Zahra Jawad. I just moved my mobile. So I'm really very tired, traumatized, stressed, feeling something. So in this condition, that psychic attack, let's see if I can bring myself up to say about this religion. I want to, I don't know, there's this compulsion. It's not right to have a compulsion to save the people, because no one can save the people. They can only save themselves. We can either maybe help ourselves, I don't know. Very dangerous thing to say that we're helping ourselves when we could be killing ourselves. So, in the name of helping, a lot of religion is exploited. So some thoughts are coming in my mind. Sorry, I have to, let's see if they fly over my cuckoo's nest or they still remain. Some points have come up that, Abraham was the one who attacked, right, attacked the idols. That's what we are told in the Quran. I don't know if it was that house he made, that cube house, and which is called the Kaaba for the Muslims now. They go for pilgrimage and Umrah there, shorter pilgrimages. So, I just realized by remembering this ayat, Surah Mumtahana. Okay, so any which way you lose with the Muslims and the Shias, you know why? There's this thing called in human beings to have this conflict, and then for security, we may have created. I mean, Allah may have been their God, the divine force, beyond all this, but we cannot find scientific evidence for it. However, these prophets claim that they were the ones who stayed true to this one God consciousness, which is, or even above it, the supreme consciousness. So I feel in my looking at all this that we are defending, I just come out of compulsion here to defend what I'm holding on to, that now this is not a true religion. So I will be even blamed for this, right? It could be by some Muslims, Shias and Sunnis and Muslims, only Quran Muslims. So whatever it is that I also have a compulsion to, prove my point, which shouldn't be there. I mean, I should live. I don't need to talk about this to anyone. As long as I get it, this is Quran what is, and where I stand now. But I think something happened in my life, like when I wanted to seek truth on my own, and my father was agreeing to it, but then Dukhli, on the other side, there's this two-faced that I didn't see. So you see, always there was some road going, like he would send someone to, or something to prevent me. But I didn't, I was deceived, I was duped, right? So I trusted in my father's face, in front of me, what he showed me, that I could be free to choose. Okay, believe in what you want to believe, right? If you want to believe in yourself, and like that, my father would say. But behind it, things were changing in our house, like even my mother did not remain the same. Something strange, like some strange influence, too much. Like now she was like that Shia, that Aliun Waliullah. We were not ourselves. Uh, only get married too. She started to get aggressive on this. I saw my mother changing very drastically in year 2000, right? And that was not that mother I had when I was earlier in A levels, or that can I marry someone I love, even if they are not from the same religion? She said, Beta, daughter, I allow you, my child, to marry whoever you like and love. So then in year 2000, something strange was happening. Maybe for that also. And this compulsion to do the wrong thing also is in me now, right? Bad habits can't. So all this. So someone had betrayed me. It seems a loved one, a very close person who I trusted. And I was thinking that they are very, yes, understanding. But I'm not blaming. It's apart from my mother, someone else. They got us so influenced, so that's why I, excuse me, I had to, maybe that's why the compulsion is there. So, but otherwise, as a normal person, I would, when I see the dangerous, I mean, in people already we have this danger, conflict, like Jiddu Krishnamurti says, but to use, there is a being, like, you see, that's why in this religion, something is holding me back from completely leaving it, like you're not even talking about it, not even touching the Quran ayats, opening it or anything. This is unhealthy. It's too obsessive a thing, and it's abominable to go here. You see, this madness in us, what Jiddu Krishnamurti said, like, we're so divided in our minds. And then it's like, if we were wholesome, we would just be and not even have to tell others, as long as they don't encroach upon our rights, human rights. But this one seems to be like encroaching upon human rights, this monotheistic religion. And whether it is for me, whether it is in Jews' book or not, that Abraham uh, attacked the idols first, he was the aggressor actually. But then Muhammad here tells us, Allah tells us in Surah Mumtahana that the idol worshippers were doing this to him, attacking him. In what way? Fighting or striving in my cause and seeking means to my approval. Now wait a minute, where's Mumtahana verse? O you who have believed, do not take my enemies and your enemies as allies, extending to them affection, while they have disbelieved in what came to you of the truth, having driven out the prophet and yourselves, because you believe in Allah, your Lord. So you were driven out by these, who were the enemies, polytheists, disbelievers of Makkah. They say, explanation in context. This is about Prophet Muhammad in Makkah. So I'm being attacked after like I'm someone I don't want to marry. Okay, sorry, excuse me. So yeah, my attention is taken. Some smell comes or something like that. okay, I'll just carry on. Driven out the prophet, okay, in yourselves. So here we are told that these polytheists drove them out. O you who believe, take not my enemies and your enemies as friends, offering them your love, even though they have rejected the truth that has come to you. Okay? Even though they rejected the truth. It's because you believe in Allah. Skipping some driven. Okay. Oh God, again the other translation of Surah 60 verse 1 I was reading. Now it's verse 2. If they gain dominance over you, they would be to you as enemies and extend against you their hands and their tongues with evil, and they wish you would disbelieve. Okay? They wish you would disbelieve. So, now, wouldn't Prophet Muhammad and his Allah wish that we believed? Idol worshippers believed in? Now, even like Jews and Christians would believe in him. Now, idol worshippers would like you to, well, come and believe in them, perhaps. You can put that blame on them. Never will your relatives or your children benefit you, except that Prophet Muhammad's sons, Hassan and Hussein, would benefit us in the hereafter also. Like, and in this world, showing us how to live the true life, right? So, according to Shias, and according to the Sunnis, it's the caliphs. You have to, they guide you, the rightly guided caliphs, and Rasulullah and Allah, of course. Then I come to the fourth ayat. There has already been for you an excellent pattern in Abraham and those with him when they said to their people, when there's, oh God, this one, when they said, the site, when they said to their people, indeed we are disassociated from you and from whatever you worship other than Allah. We have denied you. And there has appeared between us and you animosity and hatred forever. So starting from Abraham, right? Starting from Abraham. Who brought this animosity and hatred? Starting from Abraham. If we go to Surah Anbiya verse, where it is said that Abraham told them, who was the first aggressor? Who broke their idols then? Abraham did. Remember, as we are it's brought to our attention, and during the majlises of the tragedy event of Karbala. What happens? Who was the aggressor? Who threw the arrow first? We are told we weren't the aggressors. The army of Yazid threw the arrow first. So, who started this animosity and hatred? And then touch me not, you are najis, like you are impure. Surah Taha, Hazrat Musa in Surah Taha with the Samiri caste, as they say. So, yes, there is a conflict in man. It becomes political and all this. And always fighting for land. But also, don't you think exploiting that superpower, that supreme power, the divine, whatever you may call it, behind all this, taking it and saying, just believe in that one God, but now, like, I can go on with my thing, right? Opinion. But I'm showing you from the verses, do not associate, but you can use Rasulullah as an intercessor. What's the difference between associating any other with God, calling on any other with God? Also this point. And what else is there? Yeah, what's the difference between making Rasulullah and his family, or even the Sahabas with him, his followers, wasilas, intercessors, however the Quran allows it or not, just think about it, right? Making Rasulullah a wasila, an intercessor, intermediary, intercessing. And then we're told also this point of God spoke to Moses, but then he doesn't speak to any other prophet, no one. Perhaps only the Imams, but we're not told in the Quran. So if some Imam gets it, like, Imam Ali, Amir al-Mu'minin, the commander of the faithful, gets it that God must be talking to him like he spoke to Moses. Moses had this preference with God. Prerogative, what do you call it? With God, right? It's God's prerogative. Well, whoever he likes he can speak to, but he doesn't have a voice. And then he used that fire, which is gone now, but the tree from which the bush is there, and you can go and pay your respects. You can go and pay your respects, but you don't take this as God himself. Or this, you take it as the sign of God, but you don't go there worshipping, talking to, hello bush, God chose you to talk to Moses. Now, God knows. I'm just trying to see because it's been quite vague in my mind, confusion. Whenever I thought of idol worshipping, like even though the reasons given here, when I start to really contemplate deeply, it's like, oh God, idol worship. I wish you could be here, I could touch you here, why not? But of course, everyone has their reason why, because God this way, and explaining that no, you cannot touch God. But you can talk to God, right? You can communion with God like Hazrat Musa did, although God will not talk to you back. Oh, Ya Zahra, I tell you, you must do this. Go to your principal's house. Tell her to become a Shia. I mean, God's not going to talk to me like that. So then, this is for you. And then, Abraham, let me see any other point coming. So, who broke the idols? And who was the aggressor? Abraham or Abraham's father, Azar? Who was the aggressor? But not when Abraham said to his father, I will pray for forgiveness for thee, though I have no power to get out on thy behalf. Get aught on thy behalf from Allah. They prayed, Our Lord, in thee do we trust, and to thee do we turn in repentance. To thee is our final goal. Our Lord, make us not objects of torment for the disbelievers. Well, this is not important for now. And then we have the verse in Surah Anbiya that I was trying to search for. I wasn't getting it on Google search. Ayat, just a simple ayat that Abraham broke the idol. So I had to go to the Shia site and then I had to read all that explanations and all this that I really cannot take anymore. So where is that? Where did I say? I'll have to go to the whole reading through Surah Anbiya now. But please go and read. So the conflict in man is that, no, you have to believe. You see, the conflict is man is about property, whatever it is about political gain, power, power, money, fame, all this. I really see what I see, if I may, through these verses now, is that Prophet Muhammad didn't spare either this conflict in him, some insecurity in all these prophets, really. I tell you, not only Prophet Muhammad, but the biblical prophets too. And so they just, using this Allah, God, as exploiting for some insecurity in them. And that's where the conflict comes out. Conflict comes out because there's some insecurity in a person. Insecurity of something. That's what I used to think until I read Jiddu Krishnamurti. Jiddu Krishnamurti explains the thought and then conflict because being and we can't become. The distance. So this, due to this insecurity, I didn't know how to explain this, but anyhow, I will struggle and try. In man, the conflict in man, and that we would not blame religion. Of course, leave religion out. If prophets didn't come to tell us, forget it. Just, there's a divine force. Just align with it. And the one who brought the mantra to you or the prayer to you or the guidance to you, just leave that person alone. Don't worship that person. Because the misguidance is here now. And by deception, what do you mean? What do I mean? Misguiding people that now worship me. Only through me can you get, like Jesus Christ said, only through the Son can you get to the Father, right? Is that right or not wrong? Only through me, Rasulullah, if you love Allah, follow me. Allah will love you. So, me. And also in Surah Fat, you've got to worship Rasulullah. You've got to honor him, help him. How do you know he's the true prophet? Oh, because he told us there's only one Allah. And surely there's only one Allah. You can see it, you can witness it in yourselves. Now Muji Baba's showing you, and all this going on, right? But by bringing religion, they've exploited this force that is. And if you don't, it's like the Quran is like, if you don't believe in this, but it doesn't say it, fight the disbelievers. Like if you don't believe in Prophet Muhammad and Allah, either you will be or killed. you will be killed for not believing in one God of Rasulullah, the one Allah. And then you have to obey Rasulullah, what he says, like he told Zaid in Surah Azab. And Zainab bin Josh, we are told, in the commentary. Believers have to obey both. So if he tells you, you've got to assist me, you have to. So what is the point that I could, all those who have missed it, the disbelievers should be killed. Hatred, what does hatred breed? I know there's a pure hatred where you just keep away and you don't kill. But what is that hatred that is mentioned here in this verse, Surah Mumtahana, verse 4? We have denied you, and there has appeared between us and you animosity and hatred forever until you believe in Allah alone. Enmity and hatred. Not only hatred, but hatred. You know what is enmity? It's like you are at war with each other. You are enemies, one of each other. Animosity. You know what is animosity? So hatred combined with animosity. If you purely hate a thing, like you hate hypocrisy, you hate it, a strong feeling of dislike or hatred, ill will. You have an ill will towards that person, like you don't want that person to succeed, or resentment tending toward active hostility. You see, if idol worshippers, let's say they're idol worshippers, and they also hate a certain bad, they think this is a bad thing to do, like coming into the temple, doing something, wrong behavior, misbehaving. That's bad thing to do, right? I hate that behavior. But if I say, like, I will just ask you to leave, kindly leave the temple, right? If you don't, you insist, then, but what's that hatred towards that behavior that that person at that time is showing in the temple when there are some laws and rules? So you hate that act. You don't hate the person, but you hate the act of that person. Like Imam Ali explains in Najul Balagha. You hate the sin, not the sinner. This means the sinner always has this time to. But if you say animosity, right? Hatred, enmity, see, both is given here in this ayat. Surah Mumtahana, verse 4, this part. Hatred, and before hatred, enmity. And between you and me. Yes, word by word, Quran Arabic, Quran.com. Hatred, before hatred, enmity. So let's say this is not idol worshipper saying to the monotheist believers. This is the monotheistic believer saying to the idol worshippers here. Before, when Abraham and those with him said to their people, like the idol worshippers, you see, make a distinction. The idol worshippers can hate something in Muslims, but they're not going to hold a grudge, a resentment, ill will, hostility towards you. They're not going to come after you because this is a thing, springs you to doing something. What is it? The cause of hurting someone, having ill will for someone. See, dictionary, animosity. I'm not saying this English dictionary, Merriam-Webster, and so you can't say this about this enmity here. You see, enmity with hatred, pure hatred, if you have, like, you hate a thing, you hate it, but you don't have to be hostile towards it. This is what I meant, and I'm explaining to myself. Long time ago, I used to tell myself, pure hatred. Suppose I hate a thing in a friend, her habit of, I hate it. I hate these rapists, right? Or I hate the rape act. I hate it. But if I say enmity, then I have an ill will towards them. You see, I hate that. I hate rapists, or I hate the rape act. This man who raped me, right? And if I say I hate this man, everything about him, because he raped me, he's a rapist, then I could develop an animosity towards him and wish for him death. May he die, may he be punished. But if you purely hate something, but you don't cultivate that animosity. I hate this food, I hate it. Am I going to kill the food? So it's kind of a little delicate issue to explain. It's very complicated also. But let's make it very, very simple. Some things we may hate and some things we may have animosity towards. So if that hatred, pure hatred, does not go into animosity, you just feel hatred is what? You abhor a thing. Strong feeling of dislike. See, animosity here, it says ill will or resentment tending towards active hostility. So it will an antagonistic attitude. Like first it will come towards you and you'll feel disgusted, and then you will develop this resentment, ill will, I wish it wasn't here. And then you would want to kill it. But if you only stay in this abhorrent state, I hate, what's the meaning of hate? What happens? What is this? Not what happens, but what is this? And then feel intense dislike for. I hate these people. They come here and I just hate it that they come here. I hate these people. You see, pure hatred, it doesn't go into it. It doesn't have to go into animosity. Certain conditions, in certain circumstances. But here, okay, little bit explained. I don't know how to properly explain that. Why hatred? There's some kind of pure hatred that doesn't go. There are lots of things I hated in my life. I hated these people, hypocrites. I hated. This doesn't mean that I wished bad for them. I wished they would change into good. From hypocrisy to sincere people, faithful. But I didn't go out of my way to tell them and all this. I didn't go killing them. I didn't develop ill feelings for them. I somehow fell short of developing that thing for them, ill will. That ill will, may they die, I can see it. Only once I remember for the Hammer group. Yes, for Hammer group I wish they would die so that, you know. But I've never wished for any other enemy of mine even death. Meaning I hate, like let's suppose someone keeps telling me that this person is your enemy, our enemy, she did this and this, and she's even doing sorcery on us, and we are in this terrible condition. But I never wished death wish. I never wished her death wish. Even though I may have been told that she's after our whole house, our children, my brothers and sisters, younger ones, also my whole house. My mother, everyone. Okay, just a minute. I need water. Need water. So, this is the experience of my life. That's why I'm talking about it. I didn't wish death for her. See? And even when I felt that, oh, now God has purged you, the Islamic God, like now Islamic way, is some Muslim calling for help, we have come. Mu'mineen are protectors of each other. So I thought like that, right? They've come for this. And so when they told me telepathically that fight and kill, I was like, I'm going to kill someone? I'm going to kill a jinn even? And her? Maybe we should just, stop the evil. Suppose if she has a bad habit and she can't stop herself now, she's developed a habit, addiction, that even she's sick and tired of and she wants to let go. But she can't because it's in her now. She enjoys hurting us and it's become a habit. And when you enjoy something, you find great pleasure in harming someone, it's become a habit also. You can't stop that habit. Can I stop smoking? No, I tried my best. And I said, I'm going to kill this person and her jinns. No, I cannot. Why don't we just get the evil, stop her from doing evil. Like stop the evil in the world. Like that evil force, like whatever you do, like how would you do evil? Like you wish someone ill, but your wish cannot goes to you, comes back to yourself maybe. But I'm not going to kill this person. And then they started to tell me religiously that, if she wishes death for you, misery is worse than death. So, but at least I didn't kill her. What she wishes is her own thing. That's not my wish. No, but Imam Ali, because Imam Ali fought in that battle against the disbeliever. So they tried to explain it to me, and I even embraced that reason, which I shouldn't have. Because at that time I was a Shia, I just embraced it. But if I knew better, I wouldn't. No, you don't give reasons like this. That when all doors of peace are closed and this woman wants to come and kill you, and through sorcery she's trying, but it's worse than death, right? But that's her thing. I'm not going to be in the battlefield with her. God, glory be to God. If God wants to protect me, He'll protect me from her evil, her resentment, her ill will towards me. See? So that's why all this is a mess, this religion, Islam, and the ayats are telling me. Now I can see it. You see? Haven't also not been able to express that. Like I should have just said that no. The reason being that if someone wishes death for me, I wish good for her. So I should have gone back to Jesus Christ. Because what did Jesus Christ say? You will be persecuted. And we say it's not, Islam is such a practical religion. You will be persecuted. So somewhere God had to put his foot down and say, stop it. You will be persecuted. But why not in every era be for my sake, my name's sake? Is this, who said this? Of course, Jesus said this. For my name's sake, for my sake. Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you. What is persecution? Kill you. And shall say all manner of evil against you, like all this. This is persecution. Hate you, and they shall persevere unto the end. Reading different. Matthew 5:11, and this is Matthew 10:22 in the Bible. So no, I'd rather be a Christ in all era, even today, but I had to go. I chose this. Bibi Fatima Zahra's disciple has come. No. Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you. We will not take up the sword. We go to majlises and get bomb blasts and all. As Shias also. So why fight? Subject someone to hostility and ill treatment. Okay, it's not like killing. It's even worse than to just strike one and kill that person. But don't do it in that butchering way, Islamic way, slowly taking the blood out like we do to the animals. So all that blood is out. That's even worse. Just give it a blow and finish it in one go. Harass or annoy. Okay, it's not killing, but it's not killing. Because of the race, political, or it's harass, hostility, and ill treatment. Harassment, annoying someone, oppress someone, persecution, worse than death, killing someone. I see. So they keep you in this way, right? Persecute you and they persevere in it. So do you think this religion is man-made? Any prophet that comes to you and says, I know this God, and like you've learned Namuji Baba how to witness and all this, right? I know this God, now I am the prophet. Obey me, revere me, respect me, obey me. And when these Quran ayats come to your sight and your mind, recall. Recall what Prophet Muhammad did to Zaid and Zainab and Josh. So, and who was the first one? Here, like in Surah Mumtahana, a God, what happens here? How does he start this verse? Oh, believers. So we would get so duped into, oh yes, these idol worshippers. But what is the problem with you? How do you people think? It's not you people. It's what this Quran has made you think the way. You see, you don't remember that ayat where Abraham, was it Beit el? Abraham's house, that 4 cube? Or was it in Jerusalem somewhere? Another Beit el, another house of Abraham when he was younger, okay? He was younger. And this house the polytheists had with idols, temple. Right? So then Abraham went away from the temple in we are told in Makkah. He built a house for one God only, where you all the Muslims go to. Yes. And there again the polytheists came, and since since no prophet had yet come, God allowed them to keep the house, keep their idols in the Abraham's house, which Ishmael and Abraham built for their one God. And again, these prophets, idol worshippers, tried to take it away, stole it. Many, many years Abraham disappeared. And this practice was going on in Makkah with idol worshippers, idols in that Abraham's house, which was meant for all people. Okay, however you may come with that. And all citizens and visitors were welcome there. But it was Abraham's. Abraham had built it for Allah. Abraham had built that house for Allah, that you go and you worship it like it is Allah's house. Sacred house. You look at it and you start to cry. You're like, oh my God, here's this house of Allah. And here's this black stone. Oh my God, in remembrance of who? And you kiss it. You kiss it. And then Shia Sunni, don't bring that in. I'm not bringing it in. All Muslims. I'm talking about all Muslims. What do you do? House of Allah. It's called the sacred house, but it's also called the house of Allah. Who calls it a Quran ayat? Or is it just in the hadith that it's come to us? House of Allah. So I'll have to search for it again, see? And my head is now going to burst. So, house of Allah, sacred house. What do you do? Oh God, No, don't tell me. House of Allah. House of Allah. Quran ayat. Is there a Quran ayat? The Kaaba is the holiest Romanized Bait Allah. Romanized Arabic Bait Allah. You call it? Is it in the Quran? You ask yourselves. You are who are Hafiz of Quran. Please ask yourselves. Idol worshippers not idols not allowed in the house of Allah. But does Allah ever? But do you know what, Zahra? We Muslims, wherever I come from, what are you going to tell me? No, but this is. No, now Muslims, you're becoming weak. I can hear, I can see, I can sense. Huh? It is considered by Muslims to be the Bayt Allah, house of Allah. How? What is the reference? In the Quran ayat or? Now I'll have to read this whole thing. And who made it? The Kaaba is believed by Muslims to have been rebuilt several times throughout history, most famous by Abraham and his son Ismail when he returned to the valley of Makkah. Okay, you tell me it's going to be in the Bible. It's also in the Bible. It's also in the Jewish text. History, significance in Islam. But I want to know the Quran ayat. Bayt Allah. Does it say yes? Surah Baqarah, verse 125. Surah 22, verse 26. Maybe it's Hajj, Surah Hajj, I'm not sure. Surah 22. My house by Allah. No, it says my house. In Surah, house of Allah. Surah Baqarah, verse 125. Ancient house. Not important here. Sacred house. Your inviolable house. Not important? Yes, once here. House of Allah. Oh my God. And what are the idols? What are we told in Surah Zumar? Because you see the spirituality that scare. We can never be sure. Oh my God, sometimes like why don't I completely in my heart also, why is it hurting even now? Like, and feeling scared. Why don't I burn all my bridges for once? Because that is spiritual, like everything is like that surreal thing, metaphysical. And then, when that scaring ayats come like fire in hell, and are you 100% sure, Zahra, that, like that, that's how this cult has made it into. What was I going to go for? To search now that I mentioned, and another point came up. So I can't, I have to do this. Excuse me. So you see, house of Allah. And idol worshippers, Surah Zumar. They say, these idol worshippers who associate others with Allah, they say, we call upon them so that they may take us nearer to Allah. Isn't that wasila, intercession? Sorry, excuse me. Isn't that... Sorry, excuse me. Isn't that intercession when the polytheists tell them, these Muslims or believers in Rasulullah, that Prophet, that I feel so sick. Uh, right now I'm not. Sorry, excuse me. I need a break. So, what do they say? The polytheists. We call on them, or we remember them, or we take their intercession and associates of Allah, or intermediary to the one God. Which direction do you bow down to? Bow down to Allah in which direction? Kaaba is your Qibla direction. Kaaba, the house of Allah. So you need a direction, but and the house made of bricks, rocks. But the idol worshippers cannot have their idols. This house has broken so many times, had cracks, and had to be restored. House of Allah. You know Allah doesn't have a house. Then why have you made a house of Allah? Oh, Shias will tell you. Because authority in the Quran. Quran authority. Shias will tell you Imam, our authority after Rasulullah. Okay, the Azan has started. I'm not going to pause. I think I'll just end this and continue some in another video later. Thank you so much.